What is up, Chuggernauts? Welcome in. It's the Gridiron Chuggers. We are back. We had some fun this weekend with the Pro Bowl, but we are on to bigger and better things. We got the Super Bowl coming up. But first, we got my boy, Juke and Josh, in the building.
What's up?
Lock it in, Lando, back at it.
Yes, sir.
And your boy, Big Flex X. We got a lot for you guys today, but first we're going to start off with what's on tap. Josh, let us know what we got.
So today we went with the classic beer Mosa. Now, traditionally, a lot of people recommend you use a Belgian ale just because it carries those citrus notes. So we went with everyone's favorite Belgian, Blue Moon. And man, this goes amazingly any time of day, I swear. I got some topped with tahini, so, adds a little bit more kick to it. But
okay. My boy bringing the culture vibes out.
I've never had a bad beer Mosa. Personally, my favorite mixture is 70-30, but how did you guys feel about this?
70-30. I went a solid 50-50, half and half. You can't go wrong with the half and half. I actually had a Bud Light with it, though, because I went to the gas station and I looked for some Blue Moon, and I couldn't find any. Like, what's up with 7-Eleven? What are they doing, bro?
Dude, I just want to know how many beer Mosas that X is in right now. He's got to be two. He's got to be three deep.
Just know, like last week we had the bet about the over/under on the 10 beers. I'm probably over that right now. If the Super Bowl was today, we would hit.
No, I believe that.
No, we're cashing.
We're cashing. We're cashing for real. Yeah, but I hit a solid 50-50. Lando, what'd you hit?
I put a quarter beer because I was really feeling the orange juice, but sometimes the beer gets to the tummy. You know what I'm saying? When you mix the citruses like that, it starts doing some things. So I went light on the beer, but I can always pour another one. It's time for this first sip.
Hell yeah. Ooh. Let's give it a little taste.
It's a nice little champagne glass right here.
Oh, yeah. I got the wine glass with me. Come on.
There you go.
That boy went bougie with the wine glass.
We need a custom Chuggers glass.
Yeah, but not bad. I really like the taste of it. I'm feeling the vibes. I'm feeling the beer Mosa vibes. But we got a lot for you guys today. Lando, let us know what's in store for us today.
We got tons in store for you today. We got the Pro Bowl recap. We're gonna go over what happened and who scored. We got underdog fantasy recap, going back through all of our locks for this underdog fantasy lineup, offensive awards, the honoraries, the player of the year. We're going to find out. Second half, we're breaking down the defense honoraries plus your coach awards. So stay tuned. We got a little trivia at the end. I'm ready.
Oh, we're all ready, baby. We got this going on. So don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. If you're new to listening, make sure you guys follow and subscribe to us on our YouTube and Instagram at Gridiron Chuggers. We're still at about 2,000 followers, but we're trying to hit that 5K mark by the end of April. So if you enjoy the show, hit that little bell on your screen and hit subscribe. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Click the link in the bio. It'll take you straight to a winning fantasy season. But without further ado, the countdown to kickoff starts now. Woo! It is time for the first quarter.
Okay, everybody. The Pro Bowl is done and wrapped up. It was quite a weekend. We had some star players absolutely show out, some coming up on contract. But I want to start off with Geno Smith. If this was a real game, this man would have scored over 36 points. I mean, he's vying for that contract right now. What does this mean for the future?
Dude, Geno Smith, he was dotting them up. I'm telling you, if he's coming back next season, he's definitely going to be a starter, and he's definitely going to ball out. And the legend has it that he has yet to write back.
Wow.
He has yet to write. To this day.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. I think it's time to sign Geno Smith to a contract. Nothing crazy, but I can see the man getting $10 million a year. He was a top 7 quarterback last season, or this season, technically.
I mean,
yeah,
I think 10 mil would be a little disrespectful given what he wound up doing. I'll be looking north of 20.
I mean, we're talking a top 5 quarterback right here, right?
Yeah. I mean, Geno Smith has definitely earned his stripes at this point in his career. And doing what he did in the Pro Bowl is just putting on a showcase to let every other team know if the Seahawks don't pay me, I'm worth your while. But
absolutely.
Not only did Geno Smith ball out, we had some more NFC stars continue to make scores. CeeDee Lamb came away with not 1, but 2 touchdowns. Now, is this the CeeDee Lamb we're going to have to get used to? Because I think it is.
I think CeeDee Lamb is way undervalued, or at least underrated when it comes down to who. It's because of who he's getting rated next to. We're talking about Justin Jefferson, same draft class. Justin Jefferson drafted behind him, but CeeDee Lamb, I mean, this dude makes some really tough catches. He had one on the sideline into the end zone, scoring a touchdown, toe tap touchdown, had it, even though it is 7-on-7 football. I know it is, but regardless of that, I mean, he still made a good play. And then his second touchdown was Kirk Cousins just throwing a laser. And I don't know why he threw this. This was triple coverage that Kirk Cousins threw this ball into. But CeeDee Lamb, just the back of the end zone, keeps his concentration and snags the ball for a touchdown. I mean, I think this dude is playing really well. Shout out to him doing a really good job in the Pro Bowl. I know it's not what the regular season looks like, but this is a CeeDee Lamb that we get week in, week out.
Yeah, dude, that's a 2nd-round fantasy player who acted like a 1st-round pickup all season. He was consistent. Didn't even matter the quarterback. I mean, he was out there balling with Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
So CD's a guy you need on your fantasy team. Enough said.
Not only was CD a star wide receiver, we had arguably the 2 best receivers come together and make a scoring play. Devontae Adams pitched it to Tyreek Hill.
I remember this one.
Deep. Come on, tell me.
Oh, man.
But was it I mean, it was barely a touchdown.
It was a touchdown.
But there was a reason. I mean, this guy got knocked out of bounds. Did you see this?
Oh, bro. I saw this, bro. Shout out. Okay, this was actually a really smart play by Devontae Adams because there was 12 seconds left in the half. And if he gets tackled inbounds, that clock is running. They have no more timeouts, and they can't do anything about it. So or not tackled, but his flag pulled, you know. So Devontae Adams is at like the 2-3 yard line, about to get his flag pulled, and pitches it back to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill snags it, walks into the end zone. But meanwhile, you got Jalen Ramsey over here trying to pull Devontae Adams' flag. He pulls it, and he does at the 1 yard line, but the ball's already pitched. And his momentum carries him into Tyreek Hill and body slams the boy. I'm talking about Tyreek Hill looked like a child with his 2 feet up in the air and his head going back. You know what I'm saying? Like it was pretty bad, low key.
With you explaining this, bro, I feel like I was front row.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. This was front row on my couch, but this is how I saw it. And this is exactly what went down. And, you know, Tyreek Hill still scored and he got up like nothing happened. So shout out to that. But what the crazy thing is that the refs that were there called a flag on Trayvon Diggs, and Trayvon Diggs was like 5 yards away from the play. That's my biggest problem here. Like, why can't the NFL refs just get it together?
Because they don't have to. That's why.
I mean, I guess it is the Pro Bowl, but they really don't. They're not held accountable.
Yeah, they're like, this is a wash. This doesn't matter. In all seriousness, it doesn't. But one person it definitely mattered for, and shoot, he may have shot himself in the foot taking this Pro Bowl combine, is Derek Carr. You know, he's looking to find some new suitors now that the Raiders have officially said, go find a new team. And to put on the showing he did, I don't think it looks too good for his future. I don't think anyone's going to be calling his number anytime soon.
I think they considered this the Pro Bowl combine for Derek Carr. And he did do a good job when it was like the quarterback skills challenge. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the precision and everything. He did a really good job at that, and I think
Bro,
he balled
he
out.
had like 31 points.
I think he led all the quarterbacks in that challenge, which he did really well. But when he got out there on the field 7v7, he did not look good. Like, I don't know if it was plays that they were calling. Obviously, you have one pass rusher rushing you the whole time, but he was missing throws. You know, he just wasn't on target. I think Derek Carr, I don't know if this does help him or if it hurts him at all, because it is the Pro Bowl. I don't know if anybody's actually looking at this and trying to scout him at this. But if they are, this is bad news for Derek Carr.
Hopefully they'll give him grace. Maybe he could fit in somewhere. But as of right now, I don't think of too many teams who want to take on an older quarterback like Derek Carr in his.
Hey, Carolina Panthers, bro.
Nah, they might.
Come on.
Nah.
Go for the youth. That's all I can say.
Lando's out for real.
My favorite player of this past year, and me and X had him on one of our joint fantasy teams, was Amon-Ra. I think this was such a deserving award he basically got. He won the best catch with style. What did he wind up doing?
Bro, was there a mascot involved?
Oh, there was definitely a mascot involved. There was everything involved. I mean, it wasn't what Stephon Diggs did. Stephon Diggs had a crowd full of cheerleaders, and he didn't catch one single pass. So that was kind of terrible. Yeah, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, the creativity was top 10. I'm telling you, not top 2, but not 2. And it was him and his brother, right? What's his brother's name? I know, like Equanimus St. Brown.
Equanimus or something.
Yeah, and he plays for the Bears, but him and his brother, Michael Vick, throwing the football. Michael Vick threw it to Equanimus St. Brown. Equanimus midair, jumps on the trampoline midair, catches the ball, and throws it, tosses it up again. And Amon-Ra St. Brown from the other side jumps on the trampoline and jumps up and catches the ball with one hand, pulls it in, and snags it over the mascot. He jumps over the mascot. I thought the creativity was on point, but the best catch of all really was the front flip catch that he had. He did a whole front flip and caught the ball upside down.
Yeah, no, that's not easy.
That is not easy. I would be confused as hell. So I think Amon-Ra, yeah, shout out to him. The creativity was on point, and he did a badass job.
That's all we've got for the Pro Bowl. Next up, we have some underdog fantasy lines for Super Bowl 57. You already know, if you listened last week, we're only using $7 on 5 player props to win a total of $140. So we're going to break these down parlay bit by parlay bit, starting off with arguably the greatest tight end ever, Travis Kelce. Now, the line is at above 7.5 receptions. Do we think this is even possible for the Super Bowl?
I think he is the greatest tight end we have ever seen. Ever.
Sheesh. We're talking better than Gronk.
Better than Gronk.
In everything. Somehow.
Tony Gonzalez, you name it, bro. But we have Travis Kelce having one of the best seasons he's ever had. And he's sitting at 110 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 12 touchdowns this season. He's averaging 7 catches a game. This line, it's at 7.5. He's averaging 7. But you're looking at Patty Mahomes having a week off to get better, get healthy. I think they connect. And the last time, he's had 2 career games versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's averaging 8 targets and 60-plus yards in both of those games.
I know a lot of people could say this might be his last Super Bowl. I mean, he is getting a little bit on the older side when it comes down to tight ends and their age. Obviously, he hasn't missed a step at all. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think he could get this done very easily. I think he could tally up to 8 catches this game. And on top of that, I think he can lock in a receiving touchdown.
Yep. It's been pretty unanimous on this one. We all voted on it last week. We think he'll definitely be able to get this. I mean, I'm looking probably closer to 10 receptions, seeing as he is the number 1 guy And if anyone's going to exploit that defense, it's going to be Travis Kelce. Next up, we have the young running quarterback, Jalen Hurts. The line is currently at above half a rushing touchdown. So you just have to get one and you're cashing on this part of the parlay. I mean, this was easy for us. He's scoring 13 rushing touchdowns in one season. I mean, it only took 15 games for him to do that, minus the few he sat. And he's had a rushing touchdown in each of the last 2 games. This is 100% going to cash. It's got to, right?
Oh, yeah. You're talking like, I think this is 100%. This is one of the greatest stories in the NFL right now. This guy went from being a backup quarterback to, he really went from in college having the position at Alabama as a starter, losing it in a championship game to Tua Tagovailoa, switching over to schools, going to OU, and kind of making himself better, really growing and becoming a better quarterback when you're talking about passing out of the pocket, also as rushing. And then he gets into the NFL, and he's a backup quarterback to Carson Wentz for a year. And now this is his full first season starting. Am I right? Or is this his second full season starting?
I think it's his second.
I think it might be his second full season starting. But now he's in the Super Bowl, and he has had an MVP type of season. He is the runner-up right now, or at least second in odds, which we're going to touch on later. But Jalen Hurts, I mean, when you're talking about rushing touchdowns, I think that's what he does best. That's what makes him so good. And he has had 13 rushing touchdowns in 15 games. This should be an easy cash for him. I like Jalen Hurts a lot.
Yeah, dude, we're talking about this, and Jay Sweeze said it best. He scored in the last 2 games a rushing touchdown in each. And we look back to last game versus the 49ers, aka the best defense in the NFL, and he does it again. We look over at what he's done against the Chiefs, because this is, he's going against them again. And he's got a passer rating of over 105, 387 yards, and 2 touchdowns in his one game versus the Chiefs. Jeez, so I'm going to say this has to be an easy lock.
That's straight money. The next leg of this parlay is going to be again on the Eagles side. We've already got the number 1 receiver for the Chiefs. Now we have the number 1 receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're taking A.J. Brown over 5.5 receptions. He's been the number 1 target all season in Philly. He had 88 catches on 145 targets with 11 touchdowns. So a really high usage by a receiver, averaging 8.5 targets per game. So if he's only got to catch 6 and he's probably going to get 12 targets, I'm going to take those odds. I mean, this is more than in our favor to go after him. And, maybe we can even see if he goes above and beyond. I think this could be a 10+ catch game.
Dude, it's AJ Brown. This guy is the focal point of this offense. He's going to get the targets, especially in the Super Bowl. This is why they picked him up. This is why they traded for him. They didn't want anybody else in the draft. They wanted AJ Brown, and they went and got him. He's going to get over 10 targets. And he's going to get over 6 receptions.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that does it for me is the targets. We're looking at 5.5 receptions. I'm trying to do some math here. Last time the Eagles faced, you had Jalen Hurts putting up, 387 pass yards? What? He threw the ball 40+ times. I'm taking A.J. Brown here. I mean, this is a game where you got to lock in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts.
That's our obvious parts of this parlay. Next up, we have these sneaker picks. Now, we went ahead and went with Chiefs back-to-back here, but I'm going to start it off with Jerick McKinnon, their running back, and he has been a real dual threat running back throughout the entire season. The line is currently sitting at 22.5 receiving yards. If he's got this high usage, this should be possible. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to, especially seeing as out of the last 6 of 8 games, he had up to 9 targets. I mean, the usage is there as well for this guy. Do you think he's going to be able to do it too?
Yeah, one thing that really stands out to me here is that Jet McKinnon is the third string running back right now.
Yeah,
but Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been injured this entire playoffs, and we just got an update that he is going to remain on the sideline. So he's the number 2 now.
Jeez.
And this is big because Isaiah Pacheco is number 1, and he's going to run the ball, and he runs it hard, and he's a big hitter. You know what I'm saying? But Jerick McKinnon, he comes out of the backfield, and he's that pass catcher back. He's the guy that they're going to throw the football to. And this is why the 22.5 receiving yards, I got to lock that in, because 22.5 receiving yards for a back going up against this Eagles defense, you're going to check down the ball, especially with Patrick Mahomes being a little injured with his ankle. We're not sure how healthy he's going to be, but even then, he's going to have to check down the ball eventually, and Jerick McKinnon is going to be right there to take care of business.
It's wild, man, to see this stat line at 22.5. That can happen on one catch. And considering, like you said, Patty's he's not completely healthy. He's battling some injuries. This is going to be an offense that is looking just to move the ball, throw that screen pass, throw that little running back out route. I mean, this is a lock. This is a lock it in 3,000.
Lock 3,000.
Last but not least, we had to take a kicker. This is going to be Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this one just made sense to us logically, because if there are drives that the Chiefs are not able to finish, Patty's at least good enough to get it into field goal range. And I think it could happen more than twice in this game, seeing as this Philly defense is really, really stout. So I think they're going to have to lean on Harrison Butker when available. His line is currently sitting at 1.5 field goals. So you just have to make 2. And I completely see this being a possibility in this game just because of the defensive capabilities. How are y'all feeling about it?
It's Harrison Butker, bro. It's Harrison. It's not just Harrison Butker. It's Harrison Butt Kicker. My boy's gonna kick some field goals, bro. I'll tell you that right now, dude. I like Harrison Butt Kicker. I'm dead. I like Harrison Butker.
That's his name from now on, Harrison Butt Kicker.
From now on, this is what we're calling him. But he's kicking some field goals and he's making them, bro. And like you mentioned, man, that Eagles defense is good, but that Chiefs offense is also good. So I think they are going to drive up the field eventually. And 2 field goals here, I think that's easy money.
We're going to cash this thing on the last second field goal. I mean, this is what this guy does. Watch, it's going to cash. We're going to see what happens. But we got a over 1.5 field goal for Harrison Butker. That's 2. I think that's cash money. Josh, run us through all of these picks and let them know how much money we're going to be making for the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I'm going to run through these parlay parts again. We have Travis Kelce at the first leg, higher than 7.5 receptions, should be cakewalk. Next up, Jalen Hurts, over half of a rushing touchdown. This man is probably the number 1 rushing running or quarterback in the league, so it only makes sense for him to do it in the Super Bowl, right? Next up, AJ Brown, higher than 5.5 receptions. He's the number 1 target here in Philly. It's got to happen. Just for them to win the game, it's got to happen. Jerick McKinnon, over 22.5. These are our sneaker picks, these last 2. And finally, Harrison Butker, above 1.5 field goals made. So he just needs 2. And Lando is calling the last minute field goal to clinch this parlay. We are only betting $7 to win 140.
Sheesh.
That's quite a bit.
Hey, and if we lose $7 and we do it again next week.
It doesn't hurt, you know?
I think we got this in the bag.
Woo! What's up, Chuggernauts? It is time for the second quarter.
Right back at you live from the Gridiron Chuggers studio. We got the second quarter kickoff. We're going hard in here. We got the NFL awards. We're talking pass leaders. We're talking offensive player of the year. Let's get into this. We're going to start out with the passing leader of the season. X, let them know who hit it.
Passing leader. If we're talking passing yards or we're talking passing touchdowns, either or, it doesn't matter. It was the same guy. And that
exactly.
And that's the dude in the Super Bowl. That is Patrick Mahomes locking in 41 touchdowns this season. And that is 6 more touchdowns than anybody else in the league. And then he also had 5,250 passing yards. That has to be more than Tom Brady and Justin Herbert.
I mean, I've been saying it all year. Patty Mahomes, MVP. Simple as that.
Simple as that, man. I mean, the dude's an absolute monster. And even with a banged up ankle in the playoffs, has still been doing his thing and winning football games.
Yo, did y'all see though? The last game they played, he hit another perfectly vertical throw while injured. I didn't even remember it, but I had to go back and watch it. I was like, how does this dude do this?
I think my dude can be sitting on the couch drinking a beer and eating potato chips and still throw a laser across the entire house and score a touchdown somehow.
Yeah, man. I mean, you think about it, and this guy, he's leading the league. NFL quarterbacks. You know, there's some dogs out there.
Absolutely.
And he's leading the league in passing touchdowns and passing yards. So that moves us straight into our MVP race. I got Patty Mahomes winning MVP. And, you know, I locked this in recently. I wanted to make sure I put it through before it got crazy. Right now, he is at minus 600 as the current favorite. But we have to remember where it started at plus 700. So who took it at plus 700 back in the day?
Shit,
I wish I did.
I should have.
I wish I did. I should have.
I have a bet sitting in my
was it you?
My account right now. It's 20 to win 140 or 160 or something like that. But I think it was around plus 700, plus 600. It was probably like 6 months ago.
Jeez, what a lock. What a lock. My boy's an absolute monster.
Yeah, I mean, basketball's been tough, so we'll break even.
Whoa. Let's even this thing out, though, real quick. Let's talk about the Trey Lance lock.
Trey Lance MVP. I locked it in. I donated my $20 straight to the Bookie Foundation.
shout out to the Bookie Foundation, baby. My boy locked it.
Will get you.
They gonna get you. Hey, but look, you're still here and you still locked in that Patrick Mahomes MVP. You had to pick 2 MVPs. It was either Trey Lance or Patrick Mahomes. You hit one of the 2.
So we have a Patty Mahomes MVP, but here's the question. Is Jalen Hurts going to miraculously win this thing at the last second? And that's who they decide to go with.
You know what? I think he's got the opportunity to somehow steal it, but I don't think it's going to happen because a large portion of this is voted upon by the players themselves. And I think every player who is active in the league right now knows exactly who the best player on the field is at all times. You know, no shame on Jalen Hurts. He's a phenomenal quarterback and has performed very well this year. But the games they win is due to the team, Nick Sirianni and himself. Whereas with the Chiefs, if Patty Mahomes wasn't there, and I think you take some of these other quarterbacks, I don't think the outcome is the same. And Patrick Mahomes makes a difference each and every single play. So even though Jalen Hurts has a great shot to wind up stealing this one, I'm still taking Patty.
It's, you know, my thing is you have the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts gets injured. They end up putting over 34 points on the Dallas Cowboys. If Patty Mahomes goes out and Chad Henne's in there for the full game, I don't think you're looking at 34 points and almost getting the dub. I mean, when we talk about most valuable, Patty is that guy, and he's out there playing on an injured leg just to win these games and take this city to another chip.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing with MVP, the way it works, is it's not about how you start the season. It's really about the middle of the season and the end of the season. And the biggest thing with Jalen Hurts was that he got banged up at the end of the season, and it kind of slowed him down. And we saw where he came back and what he did. I think he played very mediocre, and people weren't impressed. And I think that's what lost him this opportunity to be MVP. So I think Patrick Mahomes is just an automatic lock here. But one guy I do want to shout out and I think should deserve this MVP is Justin Jefferson. I think he was probably like that's the problem with MVP is that it's a really quarterback driven award. And I wish it wasn't because Justin Jefferson, I think, deserves this so much. I think he played really well. He was the best receiver out there in the NFL. But unfortunately, this is just a quarterback driven award.
Yeah, we had some talent in there. You know, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, they also deserve a shout out. This was a close run. I think Patty's going to take it. But, you know, with Justin Jefferson being in there, at least he can get this Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, it's looking like he may grab this. Who are you feeling? I mean, we got Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Patty Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey. Who's your top dog? Offensive Player of the Year.
Ooh.
I think when I'm looking at this list, I think it's pretty easy to say, just based off the odds themselves, you're looking at Justin Jefferson at a minus 800. That's how good he is. And that's why I think he deserves the MVP. But Offensive Player of the Year, he has to win this. Like, it's minus 800. And the next guy up is Tyreek Hill at plus 1,400. So I think Vegas knows something that I think we all already know as well. And he's going to be an automatic lock here.
Yeah, I have to completely agree. I mean, no shame to any of the people below Justin Jefferson onto Offensive Player of the Year, but Justin Jefferson should truthfully be higher. I think even placed above Josh Allen and potentially Joe Burrow on the MVP. You go back and watch the season. The Vikings do not score if Justin Jefferson is not there. He is literally the best player for that team. And I do think he deserves more of a nod. But as far as the Offensive Player of the Year, this is where they give him, you know, tip of the hat. Hey, you definitely should have been in these talks a little bit more. Tyreek Hill, I think could have had more of an impact if Tua was around the entire season. I think that's a big limiting factor here. Which is why I'm safe in taking Justin Jefferson as Offensive Player of the Year.
Well, we have to go back, you know, when picking these options, you think about what happened this season. What did they do for the team? Did they come in the clutch? Justin Jefferson on 4th and 18 versus the Bills. We'll never forget. This is history. Justin Jefferson made history. He deserves this award. Although Christian McCaffrey did not win, we obviously know it's Jay Jettas. I do think he has a great chance to win Comeback Player of the Year. We have Geno Smith and Christian McCaffrey neck and neck right now, both at plus 175. Saquon, Derrick Henry, there's some big names in here. I think I'm sticking with Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh, really?
This is someone that I'm going to lock in because a completely different season, a completely different outlook. He took over. This was a monster season for CMC.
I mean, CMC was doing really well with the Panthers. He was taking control of that offense, and they were feeding him the ball with the Panthers. And then gets traded. I believe it was week 5 of the NFL season, and goes over to the 40.
Early to mid season for sure.
Early to mid season. So we're looking at week 5, week 6, and then he goes over to the 49ers and he has that hat trick. He has a passing touchdown, he has a receiving touchdown, and he gets a rushing touchdown. So Christian McCaffrey, I mean, and then on top of that, he was the best player, or not the best player, but one of the best players on the offense for the 49ers. I like Christian McCaffrey a lot, but
he might be the best.
Might be the best. But when I'm looking at this, though, I'm looking at Geno Smith, too. I mean, they're neck and neck. They're at 175.
True.
And Geno Smith, no there's no expectations for this guy. I'm talking about like they're expecting the Seahawks to not even they're expecting them to lose the NFC West, like be dead last. And he comes out and makes the playoffs and then like plays the 49ers and loses the game. But even then, he still had a great season throughout the entire season, top 5 quarterback. I actually think I might ride with Geno Smith just a little bit more because of how difficult the quarterback position is.
Yeah, no, I have to completely agree with you on this one. Geno Smith has definitely outperformed what he was expected. I think they just brought him on more as like a role player and with hopes to eventually get a future quarterback for themselves. But man, Geno Smith really said, "Hey, you guys need to pay me my damn money because I got us to the playoffs at the very minimum, and they didn't even have a defense worth the damn for the Seahawks to actually make a real Super Bowl run." And Christian McCaffrey has been phenomenal, but the one I think really deserves this comeback player of the year is actually Saquon Barkley.
Oh, he said it.
Bro, we're all going different answers here.
I mean,
but Saquon's not far behind.
yeah, the top 3 are absolutely phenomenal. Saquon Barkley obviously was injured for a majority of his career so far, but for him to come out this year and be a top 10, maybe even breaking top 5 back, depending on how you saw him play, he's done phenomenally with a team that isn't even built. They don't have wide receiver threats. It's literally just him and Daniel Jones running the ball all game. And so I think given the injuries, I have to take Saquon over Christian McCaffrey, seeing as Christian McCaffrey just more or less had time off last season. He was a little injured, but I think he knew that ship was burning and was like, I am not going to hurt myself again for the Panthers just to be a shitty team. So I'm taking Saquon here, is not in any better of a team situation than what Christian McCaffrey is. Now, I don't even want to say the last two. Well, Jared Goff, great season. I think he deserves being here given his Rams career. But Derrick Henry as a comeback player, this is King Henry. I don't think he should be here at all.
I like him in the running, but he is dead last in the running at plus 4,000. I mean, this is all the Titans' fault, though. They were terrible this season. You had Christian McCaffrey and Geno Smith at the top. It doesn't compare. But Geno Smith, man, I mean, he got it done. You had a rookie come in to help the team this season, and he actually went off. And this is a guy that's at the top of the Offensive Rookie of the Year rankings. Kenneth Walker. We got a few in there. Garrett Wilson, Brock Purdy. You heard our top 10. It's time to talk about the real honoraries going on. Rookie of the Year. Who are you locking in?
See, this is tough. You heard our top 10. And I think we had Brock Purdy at number 2.
They got him at number 3, so that's close.
Okay, so we had Brock Purdy at number 3.
No, Kenneth I think Walker, we had him at 2. They had him at 3.
Okay, I got you. And then Kenneth Walker here is at minus 110. I think Vegas knows something that we don't. I like what Brock Purdy did. And then Garrett Wilson. I mean, Garrett Wilson is at plus 150. I think he did a great job as well. He came out and he was struggling with his quarterback play. But when he had Mike White out there, he was actually doing a great, phenomenal job. So it's tough for me to pick this. I think this is probably the toughest pick. I don't know why, but I feel like Brock Purdy might win this. Even though the odds are at plus 500, I just think the dramatic change when it came to the 49ers, when he stepped out on the field, it's like the offense was really rolling. It's like the offense could do whatever they needed to do to get it done. Compared to when Jimmy Garoppolo was out there or Trey Lance in the week 1, it's like they were struggling to really do anything and the defense was keeping them in games. When Brock Purdy was out there, he was getting it done. He was putting up points and they were beating people by 10 plus. So that's why I think Brock Purdy should be the guy.
Yeah, dude, we got Kenny Pickett sitting at plus 2,000. So Anybody who is feeling that, just go ahead and my Cash App is $.
Go ahead and donate to the Bookie Foundation.
I'll get it invested, and at least it'll mean something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. Kenny Pickett's probably out of this. He did do really well with Mike Tomlin, but again, I don't think this is a fully developed team to even gauge where Kenny Pickett is really at, but he did have a great first season. I think Kenneth Walker is actually going to take this one. And the reason why is he has a full year's body of work, whereas Brock Purdy, we got 6, maybe 7 games out of him, and even then wound up getting injured. I hope the media doesn't take this way and go based off of recency bias, looking at how well the 49ers did for the second half of the season. They do have to factor in that is a complete team all around that quarterback and even down to the coaching staff. So there's a lot more to help Brock Purdy, whereas a running back coming in being a number 1 running back all season is phenomenal. I mean, this is probably one of the best young running backs I've seen in quite some time. And he kind of reminds me of, a younger Marshawn Lynch, who is what wound up driving the Seahawks anyway. So if anyone deserves it, to me, it's Kenneth Walker. It's not in your favor to bet on it right now, but hey, if you want to get $90 off of a $100 bet and risk it, I think it's a good one to go for.
And now, it is time for our halftime show.
Chug. You know what we got here? We got the beer mimosas, baby.
We got the beer mimosas.
I got a refill.
But man, these beer mimosas are top of the line. I think I have to agree with you, X. I will take this over a regular mimosa with champagne every single brunch.
Every time. Let's get this chug done. Let's get this chug done now.
It's time to chug it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo.
Now,
that was nice.
I do recommend only using Belgians, just because they really have that citrusy flavor to help carry the OJ more than a Bud Light, which has kind of a grainier taste.
Well, I'm one of those guys that carries all the groceries in at once, so I could carry in the OJ any time of the week.
Oh, okay. He's got the juice. He's got the juice.
I got the juice. I got the juice.
Since we're in the halftime chug, and speaking of juice, this Dallas Mavericks team looks juiced up with the addition of Kyrie Irving. Oh my God, this shit blew my mind. I've been saying and begging for a new teammate to partner up with Luka. We knew he was doing too much on his own, and we got the addition of Christian Woods at the big, but Kyrie Irving, Markieff Morris, both heading to D-Town.
Dude, I love this, but I hate this. Because
you hate this?
Luka gets a dog, but you have to think Kyrie's been around, bro. I mean, he had some bad vibes with the Celtics, walked out on them. Trade me, I'm done here. Went to the Nets, couldn't really work with KD that long. He's already requesting for another trade. So although he's talent and I love Kyrie and I think we can win with him, he's got to make sure he's focused. That's what scares me in this trade.
Yeah, it's like you can't turn a hoe into a housewife kind of thing.
Exactly.
See, I don't think Kyrie's a hoe. Yeah. You know what? I feel like these were not favorable situations. The Celtics.
He's just kind of toxic. Like he'll track your location. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, not track your location.
I don't know. I like it. I mean,
he said, "I like the toxicity." You like bitches punching you in the face?
No. Oh, you like the domestic violence? No,
domestic violence. Like, what was it? 416 was the case or such.
But no, I mean, I think this is a great pick, especially what we wound up giving away. Getting rid of Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, yes, they've been useful, but are they actual stars? Are they someone that can help move the needle in the way of the championship? I say no.
Dinwiddie found out the same way we did. He got an alert on his phone that said he was going back to the Brooklyn Nets where he came from. So his kids are going home.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough with all the trades and all the players, bro. I feel kind of bad with trades and players, especially when they're not expecting it. But I think this benefits the Mavs right now. And I think that's the biggest thing. We got Luka Doncic. How long do we have him for? Maybe he might be a guy who's going to stick with the team forever. Maybe he might not be that guy. And maybe he does want to move on and join a super team and win a championship. But if we want to keep him in Dallas, we have to bring in another player that's actually going to make a difference. Spencer Dinwiddie did really well for the Mavericks when they traded for him. But he wasn't enough. He wasn't the guy that when Luka Doncic gets off the floor, Spencer Dinwiddie comes in and takes care of business. He did it every once in a while, but he couldn't do it all the time. I think Kyrie Irving is that guy on the court, but the biggest problem is who he is off the court.
I mean, I don't think it'll be that big of an issue. You have to respect the talent that is there. And obviously Luka is an arguable MVP. And so I think as long as he's teaming up with someone who's truly looking at a championship, he's going to be happy. The Nets kind of had some coaching issues with Steve Nash. They felt like he wasn't doing his job enough. And Kyrie made that known, as well as, some of the more off the court issues. Mark Cuban does happen to be Jewish, and for him to overlook that and say, this is the best choice for my team, I think he understands Kyrie means business, and it will be the thing that helps them go back to another championship. So I really like this move. On top of those two players traded, the Mavericks also traded away a 2027 second round pick and a 2029, I believe. 2029 first round and a 2029 second. Don't forget the addition of one of the Morris thugs. Those two are, a little dangerous on the court, but I think that'll be nice to have basically a bouncer down low.
Yeah, dude, this trade was fire when it popped up. I was really excited, but something else popped up. This is Tom Brady calling it quits, retiring, at the beach, toes in the sand. Speaking of sand, the spot where he retired is on sale on eBay for $90,000. So if you want to bid on that, go ahead. You can send it to my Cash App at money.
What is this? The Bookie Foundation.
Yeah, he farted on that sand or something. Like, how do you know that's exactly the sand that was there now? You don't.
You don't.
I guarantee you some little kid went by and kicked it, didn't think of nothing of it.
No, but that is crazy, man. One thing that I heard about Tom Brady, we know he's retiring. Which shout out to the GOAT, he's the GOAT. We all know it. But he actually just got on the air with what's his name? Colin Cowherd, and said that he was not going to be a broadcaster this season. He actually wants to practice and get better at it before he jumps into the booth. So that's really cool. So we'll see him on Fox 4 here in 2024. So that's exciting.
I think he's just trying to give Greg Olson another year before he gets booted off. This man has already...
Greg Olson cannot get booted off. Greg Olson is the GOAT right now. Well, not the GOAT. I actually have to kind of give that to Tony Romo right now, even though he is getting a little bit of backlash.
All right, that's some BS backlash. It didn't make sense to me because I understood what he was saying, but these people want to be overly analytical and say, oh, he didn't make the right call. I'm like, no, he made the right call. Like, it was a gorgeous pass. It was just off target.
Right.
But that's what we've got for our halftime chug.
Woo! What's up, Chuggernauts? It is time for the third quarter. And And we got some defensive awards for you guys, as well as the coach of the year. So let's jump right into it. First thing we're going to talk about is these stats. Lando, let us know. We got the sack leaders and we got tackle leaders. Who are these guys?
This was a crazy season, let me tell you. I mean, we had some sack leaders, that's for sure. We had Hassan Reddick. This was a dog all season, sitting at 19 and a half sacks. Nick Bosa right behind him with 18 and a half. Matthew Judon not far behind. He was the sack leader through the middle of the season, but couldn't keep getting them. But this was a really fun season, full with defense. But we go right into the tackles leader. Josh, who was leading the season in tackles?
So I'll apologize if I say this wrong.
No. Let's just make this clear real quick. Lando passed this off. Lando passed this off because he did not pronounce the name.
I'm going to try it and give it a go.
Hey, I can never say it right.
Foye Olukon?
Foye Olukon.
We're going to have to put that on the screen so they can read it.
But again, if it's wrong, it's not my fault. It's a really hard name to pronounce.
Yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars linebacker, though, Foye Olukon, with 128 tackles. Shout out to Lando for passing that one off. That was
If you don't know his name, you do now.
You do now, baby. Yeah, but he had a badass season as well, man. I mean, 128 tackles, and let me make this clear. He was about 28 tackles above anybody else. So this dude was out there balling.
I mean, he better be. The Jags had a heck of a defense, and to see him be that high was quite a feat. Don't forget those interception leaders, though. We had quite a few. Justin Simmons, and these are all tied. Justin Simmons, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's a long name. And then Tariq Woolen. So head-to-head for interception leaders there. Who do we have on our list for DPOY?
Well, we're getting right to it. Those were the stats for you guys. Sack leaders, Hassan Reddick, tackle leader, Foye Olukon, and interceptions, we had a whole bunch of guys. So now we're talking about defensive player of the year. But when you're looking at this list, most of these guys aren't even leaders in really any category, but it's the way that they balled out. It's the amount of pressure, the way that they got out there and did their thing. We're talking Nick Bosa at minus 1,200. Then you got the runner-up, Micah Parsons, plus 650, and Max Crosby at plus 10,000. So it's really up to the two guys on top. So who are we looking at, Lando, to get this defensive player of the year?
I'm locking at Nick Bosa. He was a huge reason that this 49ers team was one of the best in the league. He was right behind the sack leader, so he was going off all season. But, I locked that in knowing where it's at now. If I had to pick my favorite, I would say Micah Parsons because they had a spectacular season. He did a really good job out there. He even was guarding some wide receivers. So I love to see this, man. But Nick Bosa, this has to be automatic.
Yeah, what? Or go ahead.
I don't think it should be. No offense to Nick Bosa, up there as far as a sack leader goes. But this is a really, really stout defense by the 49ers. You can't forget that they have Travarius Ward out there. Talanoa, or I believe that's how you say his name, Talanoa Hufanga, who is an amazing strong safety, literally looks like Troy Polamalu's twin. And then you've also got Dre Greenlaw. I mean, there's just so much talent here. Javon Greenlaw, Eric Armstead.
Fred Warner.
I don't think I can give it to Nick Bosa because he is not the best defensive player. He just got the most sacks because his team is stout everywhere but quarterback. Whereas Micah Parsons is hands down the most unique utility tool of a linebacker. He can go in as an edge rusher. He can sit back in coverage and take defensive pressure off of the DBs and the safeties. I mean, he's all over the field, and you can't escape him no matter how hard you try. This is why I'm taking Micah Parsons over Nick Bosa. Sadly, I do think he's got a shot to win it, though.
Damn, for real. But it's only because I'm looking at the odds. It's like Vegas knows something. I do like Micah Parsons, and I watch him all the time. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan. And he was, I think at the beginning of the season, close to like week 8 to week 10, he was MVP, hands down. But the biggest thing is like, I think it was more schematically that he got hoed into being second.
Yep.
It was like schematically the Dallas Cowboys defense started getting banged up, and he's a linebacker at heart. So he had to go back and start playing linebacker a little bit more instead of just keep rushing the passer. And I think if he would have kept rushing the passer, which is what he's best at doing, he would have got that, or he would have got that defensive player of the year. But because he had to take a step back and actually play coverage and or spy the quarterback and stuff like that, it slowed him down a bit. And plus, he was getting double teamed, triple teamed every single play. So it does make it tough for Micah Parsons to become the defensive player of the year when that's what's going on. And as for Nick Bosa, I know he was getting double teamed as well. I mean, it's Nick Bosa. But I think he's going to get it because he was only one sack behind the leader of sacks. But at the end of the day, I think Micah Parsons did a really good job as well. Now, let's not forget about Max Crosby either.
Yeah, dude, we got a defense of players of the year for you. We're sliding into the defensive rookie of the year. Is it something crazy to say that Aiden Hutchinson should win this?
No, I think there's only one clear choice for defensive rookie of the year in these player superlatives, and that's your boy straight from New York, Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
Sauce. I mean, that boy was cooking all season long. I think Aiden Hutchinson did a really great job, don't get me wrong. But Sauce Gardner was balling.
I mean,
is it the team? Is it the team that he's on?
No, definitely not, because he is a rookie coming out there locking down the best wide receivers in the game. I mean, you go back and look at them, they're not getting more than 4 catches. These are guys that are usually used to a 10 target minimum, not even able to get that against a rookie. Ahmad Sauce Gardner should be walking away with this. No questions asked. He was by far the most impactful defensive rookie I think I've seen in quite some time.
Locked down, and that's exactly why he made the top one on our rookie list. So shouts out to him. But we got Coach of the Year coming up now. And we saw that Fox Sports, this is a Players' Choice Awards, gave this to Nick Sirianni. But we're on to the NFL honors. And is Nick Sirianni winning this? He's at minus 175. But you still have Kyle Shanahan with 3 quarterbacks still made the playoffs and made the NFC Championship. You have Doug Peterson with the Jaguars, who turned that team completely around after Urban Meyer made that a travesty. And then you have Brian Daboll with the Giants at plus 1,600, who took a team that really wasn't even a competitor and turned them into a playoff team. So which one of these guys are we locking in here?
I'm locking in the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni. What they've done with that team and turned it around, this is incredible, bro. I mean, Jalen Hurts, of course, he's good. He's great. But you got Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell. And somehow the Eagles are top in the game of rushing. So I love what Sirianni's been doing. Kyle Shanahan's a really good one right behind him at plus 300. But I got to take the clear favorite here.
I can say I do not want the clear favorite to win. Nick Sirianni has, really been in the media quite a bit. He's very cocky personality, at least from what we get to see as audience.
Let's not be biased now, Josh.
I have to be because it annoys me. All right. I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't like seeing it. I can look at another NFC East rival, and I am more than happy to say this should be Coach of the Year. I'm talking about Brian Daboll. The fact that he was able to come into New York and make the playoffs with the team he did, which is basically an abysmal offense outside of 2 key players and then a couple scraps on the defensive team. Brian Daboll has definitely had the coaching mindset for this award to me. He's been able to get wins when he needs them. Yes, they've had losses, but that's what happens when your team is in a rebuild. Nick Sirianni is not in a rebuild. This Philly GM has, played it perfectly and given him the upper hand in every single coaching scenario. He can run it. He can pass it. There's just so many options that I don't think there's a whole lot Nick Sirianni really has to worry about compared to Brian Daboll, who's able to go in and motivate a weak Giants team all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah, bro. I think I'm right there with you. I despise Nick Sirianni. And I also agree with you when it comes down to the front office. I think if anybody deserves an award, it's the front office of the Philadelphia Eagles, because we all know coming into this season, we were all talking about how the Philadelphia Eagles have the best roster in the NFL. And it's proven to be true. And then they also signed Ndamukong Suh, and they signed somebody else that was a big playmaker in the middle of the season and got the job done. And this is why they're in the Super Bowl. I think it's the front office who's making all of these changes and helping this team get into the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni did a great job and did coach these guys up and did help Jalen Hurts reach his full potential. But I think Kyle Shanahan should always be on this list. I think he does the most with what he has, and I think he's always struggled with quarterback problems. So I do like him as the runner-up. Doug Peterson, shout out to him for switching that whole franchise around and actually making it a decent team and making it a playoff team. And I think next year they have a big shot, especially with Trevor Lawrence under center. But Brian Daboll, man, I'm looking at him, and he literally switched the same roster. It's the same team they had last year, and made it a way better team somehow, some way. Like, I don't think Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the future, but for some reason we're having that conversation now. And last year we were thinking about getting a new quarterback for the New York Giants. Like, it's because Brian Daboll made that difference, figured out how to use him, figured out how to use Saquon without destroying him, without getting him overused. So I think Brian Daboll deserves this as well. Now, do I think he's going to win it? Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to win it. And I think it's up to Nick Sirianni and Kyle Shanahan. But Nick Sirianni, he's in the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision here.
Yeah, dude, we go to the head-to-heads. Think about it. You got the Eagles versus the Giants. Got the job done. You got the Eagles versus the 49ers. You got the job done. So to me, this was just the clear favorite. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Yeah, but that is all we have for the honors awards for you guys. We're on to the fourth quarter. What's up, Chuggernauts? We are back, and we've got the Super Bowl edition. Who am I trivia?
Who am
Are
I?
y'all ready, boys?
I'm the one.
I'm the
Who
one.
am I?
Hey. Are y'all ready, boys? Y'all ready? So pretty much what we're going to do is the Super Bowl edition. So it's only people involved in the Super Bowl. It does not have to be a player. It does not have to be just head coaches. It can be anybody that's going to be involved in the Super Bowl. We're giving you some guys, and you got to guess who I am. All right. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to start out with Josh because he's had more beers today.
Hey,
And and he's a juggernaut. So we're gonna start out with Josh. Josh gets the first go at this, and you've got to guess who I am. But if you get it wrong, Lando gets a chance to steal. And if Lando gets it wrong, then I'll keep giving y'all more hints until y'all get it right.
all right.
And whoever gets it right gets a point.
Hey, this
All
is
right.
tough. Off
First
these
of
beer
three.
moses.
Oh, yeah, we're chugging the beer mimosas too. Loser chugs their beer mimosa. But first of three, so let's get it. Here we go. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, Josh. I was drafted in the second round of the 2017 NFL Draft. My name is John, but no one calls me that.
AJ Brown.
All right, Lando, you're up.
Hey, this
I
man
was
just
drafted in the
named.
second round of the
He just
2017
named a
NFL
random
Draft.
player.
My
They're in
boys
the
just
Super Bowl,
guessed
right?
anybody.
They're in the Super Bowl, right?
They are
Okay.
the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Yes,
I would like.
AJ Brown is in the Super Bowl.
I would like my next hint.
All right, I was drafted in the second round. You can ask for a hint. Sorry, Josh, I didn't tell you that. He's like, damn it, I got robbed. I was drafted. I was drafted in the second round of 2017 NFL Draft. My name is John, but no one calls me that. I was the youngest player to reach 2,500 career receiving yards.
How many receiving yards?
2,500.
2,500 receiving yards. Let's go with Devontae Smith.
That is incorrect. Josh, you're up.
I feel like he wouldn't be a John. That wasn't a good answer.
Who would? Why would Devontae Smith be a John?
Hey, if he's a John the Third or something.
John the Third. All right, here we go. I was drafted in the second round, Josh. I was drafted in the second round of the 2017 NFL Draft. My name is John, but no one calls me that. I was the youngest player to reach 2,500 career receiving yards and the only player to have 2 offensive touchdowns of at least 97 yards.
Okay, so it's not an Eagles receiver. And I don't think Travis Kelce's real name is John.
That'd be interesting.
I'm going to go with the only other person that I could think of on the Chiefs that's a receiver and has the J name. I'm going to go with Juju Smith-Schuster.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Dang it. I should have guessed Juju.
His name is John Smith originally, but switched it to Juju as a nickname from his aunt in Pee Wee football and has stuck with it since then, and then added his last name Schuster to honor his stepdad. So now he goes by Juju Smith-Schuster. All right, next question, Lando. This is my 4th Super Bowl appearance. My current record is 1-2 in the Super Bowl. I never get any playing time, but I'm considered one of the best.
Okay, let me think about these rosters real quick.
Can I ask a question?
Ask a question.
I'll let Lando go first.
That was devious.
That was not a question.
That was not a question either. I guess him asking if he can ask a question was kind of a question.
Can you say those one more time?
Here we go. This is my 4th Super Bowl appearance. My current record is 1-2 in the Super Bowl. I never get any playing time, but I'm still considered one of the best.
Sammy Watkins?
That's incorrect. Now, keep in mind, I said this is anybody involved in the Super Bowl. All right, Josh, you're up. This is anybody involved in the Super Bowl. This is my 4th appearance in the Super Bowl. My current record is 1-2 in the Super Bowl. I never get any playing time, but I'm still considered one of the best.
The only position I can think of that doesn't get a lot of playing time would be a kicker.
I don't get any playing time.
0 playing time.
That is what I said.
So what position are they?
That's not a question you can really ask. I said this is anybody involved in the Super Bowl. This is not just players.
Okay, so I'm going to take Andy Reid.
That was easy. I gave it to you.
Okay, perfect.
It is Andy Reid. That is correct.
Because I was like, it could be Butker because he's been there for the Chiefs Super Bowl.
All right. Y'all got to keep in mind, this is anybody in the Super Bowl, not just players.
The 2-0?
2-0 it is.
Bro, I don't even know if Sammy Watkins is on any of these teams.
Sammy Watkins is not on any of these teams.
He fell off with the Raiders the Ravens this season.
He plays with the Packers, bro.
Packers?
What does that beer Mosa have in it?
Hey, yeah, something. All
Beer
right,
and
we're
Mosa.
on to the next one. We're going back down to Lando. Here we go.
I
He
need
has
to come
get
back.
one.
I need to come back.
Lando has to get one. We're going back to Lando. Here we go. I was inactive for 4 games this year. I was drafted in the 7th round and released that same season. I currently hold 5 of my team's franchise records. I played basketball, football, and soccer in high school, winning 3 state championships in soccer.
Dang, this guy sounds like a dog.
Do we know what position he played in basketball?
No, we don't. And I think that's the least of y'all's worries right now. There is a big one in that sentence that should give it away.
What was the 5 what? He has what franchise
I currently hold 5 of my team's franchise records. I played basketball, football, and soccer in high school, winning 3 state championships in soccer.
Yeah, I have no idea who played soccer, bro.
Here's a hint. I don't get too much playing time, but when I do, it's to score points.
Is this McCole Hardman?
That is incorrect. Josh, you're up.
Can you say the hints one more time? And is there an additional hint I get?
Is this Jarek McKinnon?
Yeah, bro, y'all got to listen. Y'all have to listen. I'll even emphasize the parts that need to be listened to. I was inactive for 4 games this year. I was drafted in the 7th round, and released right away. I currently hold 5 of my team's franchise records. I played basketball, football, and soccer in high school, winning 3 state championships in soccer. I don't get too much playing time, but when I do, it's to score points. There you go.
Nah. It was a soccer. I was like, that's a dead giveaway. It reminded me
It was.
Our high school days
Bro,
when
this might be the hardest game I've played.
this is trivia though. I like it. I like it.
It is tough.
Like I need some names to look at.
But that is all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us and subscribe to us on our YouTube and Instagram at Gridiron Chuggers. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Click the link in the bio. It'll take you straight to a winning fantasy season. But one time for the one time, let's put our glass in the air. And chug, chug, chug.